Hello, viewers of the Lolly Lord channel. We are here today to play a game or a visual novel called Everlasting Summer. Now this game, it's it's a great one. Uh, that's all I really gotta say. I did start playing it just to see how it was running. I don't know if I can get back to the main screen, but anyways, a bit into the story. But the picture is getting blurry. I must be waking up soon. Dot dot dot. Maybe I should ask her something. The girl. What's her name? About the stars, for instance. Why the stars, though? I would rather ask about the gates. Yes, the gates. She would be so surprised. Or better, why the dot over and I was called a titty? Hell yeah. But the dot over a J was called a superscript dot. What the fuck? Nice letters. This is a Russian dating sim. It's pretty psychologically draining, but it's a very great story. If you ever played If My Heart Had Wings, or perhaps any very well drew or drawn visual novel or dating sim, perhaps on your a Play Store, this is one of those. As if they don't exist anymore. Still, what do letters, gates, and stars have to do with this place? Because even if I'm having this dream every night, which will be forgotten soon anyway, I've got to look for answers, here and now. And there, if you look carefully, you can see the Magellanic Clouds, as if I'd end up in the Southern Hemisphere. Indeed, in a dream, there are the small things that catch of grass, impossible curves of straight lines, or your own disoriented reflection, while the real danger, which could put an end to everything right here and now, seems trivial. It's natural, since here you cannot die. I know it for sure. I've done it hundreds of times. But if you cannot die, is there a point in living? I should ask the girl. She's local. She should know. What? Yes, exactly. I should ask her about the owl, for example. One strange bird it is, though it doesn't matter. Can you... Will you come with me? And, and every time I had to answer, it's the only way, otherwise the dream will never end, and I will never wake up. Shit, our first choice. So I can obviously choose yes, I'll come with you, and it ends the dream, or no, I'll stay here to live in my dream. Now I'm aiming for like as many endings as I can get. Um, so I think yes, I'll come with you, which ends the dream, which could result in a bad end. No, 'cause, I mean, hold on, I'll say I'll stay here. Every time it's so hard to decide on the answer. Where am I? What am I doing here? Who is she? And why does so much in my life depend on this answer? Indeed it is. Oh god. I know this fucking background. I'm scared. I'm gonna be honest, I'm scared. Alright, so I chose to stick in a dream. Is this like an immediate bad end? Seems like I'm on Google News, perhaps? I have no clue. Maybe, oh, 4chan? Yeah, kinda looks like some Chan website. The computer screen stared at me as if it was alive. Yo, was that a girl from fucking, Lazy Town? Like, legit, bro, it's Lazy Town. It's Lazy Town Girl, oh my god. That legit is. The Soviet dating sim. Only this would happen. Sometimes it really did seem to me that it was conscious of itself and its own thoughts and wishes, ambitions, that it had feelings, could love and suffer. As if in our relationship, the screen wasn't an instrument. It was me, it was a lifeless piece of plastic and textilite. There is some truth in that, probably because the computer provides 90% of my communication with the outside world. Big relate. Anonymous image boards. This is definitely 4chan. Some chats from time to time, rarely ICQ or Jabber. And forums, even more rarely. I can also, like, relate with that. Damn. People on the other end of the internet cable simply do not exist. All of them are simply creations of its sick imagination, an error in the source code or a kernel bug, which started living a life on its own. The computer is sentient. Apparently, I do not know what the fuck that is. It's like a Greek god, perhaps? Okay, definitely, definitely not. If one looked at my existence from the outside, such thoughts would seem crazy, and a psychologist would surely give me a bunch of sophisticated diagnoses, and maybe write me a doctor's referral to the lonely bin, or loony bin. A lot of big words here. I have not read something in quite a time. That looks like a furry costume. This is definitely a Soviet house. A small apartment with no signs of repair. Yep, or any semblance of order in it. And always the same view out the window on the gray megalopolis, running somewhere day and night. Such are the conditions of my life. Alright, I don't know if my first answer was correct. Well, of course, it didn't all start like this. I was born, went to school, and finished it like all the others. I cannot relate. I was accepted at a university where I spent a year and a half frailing behind and struggling. I drifted through several jobs. Sometimes it was working out quite well. Sometimes I was even getting decent money from it. But it all felt like it was not mine, as if taken from another man's biography. I wasn't living life to its fullest. It was looming over and over in monotonous circles. Like in the movie Groundhog Day. Can you kill yourself? It's just that I had no choice in how to spend my day, and every day repeated itself, the same vicious spiral. A spiral of emptiness, misery, and despair. Must be tough. For the last few years, I just sat in front of my screen all day. Sometimes for menial jobs. Sometimes my parents helped me. All in all, I was able to provide for myself. No wonder, really, since my needs are quite minor. I hardly ever leave my home, and my communication with other people almost exclusively consists of online correspondence with the anonymous who have no real name, no gender, or age. Typical life of a typical antisocial person of his time. Kind of Donnie Darko on a minor scale without doomsday related visions. Maybe some highly respected author will write a novel about me and it will become a contemporary classic of modern literature. Or I will write one myself. However, that's the point of fooling myself. I tried many times, but couldn't even come up with a simple short story. I tried to learn many other things as well. Not gifted enough to draw, programming, got bored. Foreign languages takes too much time. The only thing I loved doing was reading, but still, I never would have called myself a scholar. Perhaps I was an ace at watching anime and a grandmaster of lame internet jokes. If I were to get paid for it, I would probably be happier and a richer person too, and I doubt it, but fill the hole inside me. Or I would fill the hole inside me. Moscow, in its glory. Give me a minute. Today was another typical day of a typical failure's typical life. Today was another. Oh, and today is the day when I have to go to my university reunion. Frankly speaking, I really didn't want to. Is he living in like a fucking suite? And he's like, what is the point? The time I spent with him was so short. However, I was persuaded by a friend, my former university mate, and one of a few with whom I kept in touch other than through the internet. A little bit of a warp drive, okay? Nice scenery, nice snow. It's like a wasteland, perhaps. Nice, nice car. It's pretty spooky. This looks very, dementia oriented. A frosty evening. I should play like Radiohead in the background. It's basically just like the glorified life of the aesthetic of someone who listens to Radiohead, in my opinion. Bus stop waiting. I never liked winter, though hot summer is not my season either. It's just that I see no reason to point out any particular time of the year. It doesn't matter much what the weather is outside when you stay at home 24/7. Damn, the bus today was running so late that I was about to curse it all and spend my last few hundreds of rubles for a taxi. The idea of just returning home didn't cross my mind for some reason in my mind, but there was not a single useful one to seize on. Such a thought that could bring into existence, give a shape, turn into an idea, and put into practice. Maybe I could start my own business, but where would I get the money from? Or maybe I could go back out working in an office. No, no way. Maybe I should try freelancing? But what skills do I have, and who would want me after all? Very, very relatable struggles here. I suddenly remembered my childhood. Damn it. Or rather, my teen years. A time when I was 15 to 17 years old. Legit, with 2 years, including a little bit of 14, where I like watched anime. I'm kind of freaked, not gonna lie. Why exactly those years? No idea. I guess it's just because back then everything was so much more simple. It was easier to make decisions, so complicated now and so simple then. Waking up in the morning, I knew exactly how my day was going to pass, and I always eagerly looked forward to the weekend. Then I could get some rest and have time for the things I liked: computer, football, going out with friends. And then at the beginning of next week, I'd take my studies again. Back then, there were no such worrying questions like why, who needs it, what will change if I do it, or for any normal person, and so odd to myself today, that careless childhood age. It was also then that I met my first love. Her appearance and personality have vanished from my memory. Only her name remains, like a brief line from a social network profile, along with the feelings which overwhelmed me when I was with her: affection, tenderness, the desire to care for her, and to protect her. Sadly, it didn't last long. Today, I can hardly imagine something like that happening. I would probably like to meet a girl, but I don't know how to start a conversation, what on earth to discuss, and how to attract her. Well, I haven't met any suitable girls for a long time, but where could I meet one anyway? The sound of an engine brought me back to reality. A bus pulled over. There was something abnormal about it, I thought. Then again, it doesn't matter. Only the 410 runs the route. Bitch looking like Polar Express. Street lights pass me by. It's as if their cold light sparks inside of me, trying to ignite feelings long dead. Or maybe not ignite, just awaken them. Because those feelings, they have been living in me for a long time. Some very familiar tune, but I wasn't listening to it. I was watching the cars passing by through a fogged up window. Because people are always rushing somewhere, chasing something they need, stuck in their own little worlds. Why would they care about me? Why would they care about mine? They probably have their own serious problems. Or maybe they have much easier lives. You can't know for sure, since all people are different. Or are they? Sometimes someone's actions can easily be predicted, but if you try to look inside his soul, you will only see impenetrable darkness. The bus was approaching downtown, and my thoughts were interrupted by the bright city lights. Hundreds of billboards, thousands of cars, millions of people. I watched this light show, and somehow I got terribly sleepy. I sleep. My eyes closed just for a moment, and then ah shit, it's opening time. I heard you have to have a very high IQ to understand this game, but as far as I'm getting at, it's just like looks like the fucking Catherine protagonist. Nice art, very nice art, good music, very symbolic. Now, here's where it gets kind of weird. the art style isn't the best for the anime characters. It's very weird. It is very weird. I'll definitely say that. I'm like, I don't know how to feel. It's an anti game. It's a Russian anti game, but it's also about like, this is weird. I don't. This is like a dream, but like also a very weird one. That's straight up fucking Vocaloid girl. How did I forget her name? I don't know. Oh god. Russian poisonous leaf. Damn. What an opening. I can't read Russian, so I don't even want to try saying that. Day one. Very ominous music. It's like fucking Call of Duty Zombies music. Bright daylight struck my eyes. At first, I didn't pay attention, as I wasn't fully awakened yet. On their own, my legs carried me towards the door. Semyon. Damn, looks like I fell asleep and missed my stop. But there was no door. I looked around the bus and realized that it wasn't a good old worn out Liaz. Instead, the bus was an Icarus model, a new one. I froze in shock. How? Nani? Am I dead? Omi wa mo? Have I been kidnapped? No, I must be dead. I patted myself down feverishly, slapped myself painfully in the face a few times, banged my forehead on the back of one of those bus seats. It's clear, either I'm still alive, or you can still feel pain when you're dead. But how could this happen? Maybe I slept for too long and ended up on the bus stop depot. And then what? Did they just put me into another bus? Wherever I looked, tall grass and roadside, trees, flowers, summer. But how? It was winter just a moment ago. My head was aching unbearably, as if it was going to explode. Slowly, I began to remember. A long road running off into the distance. Forests, plains, fields, lakes, and forests again. I think I was sleeping, but then how can I remember all of it? And then, a gap. Some girl leaning over me. She softly whispered something into my ear. Then a gap again. Hmm. And then I woke up here. Who was that strange girl? Or was she just a dream? I'd guess that. For some reason, thinking about her made me feel better and calmed me down a little. I felt warmth all over, coming from the inside. Could it be her who brought me here? Then I need to find her. Rushed to the left, then to the right, then stopped, hesitating over and where to go. Finally, I ran in the direction from which the bus had probably came. Physical exercise does refresh one's mind. Thoughts become clever, and it gets a little easier to evaluate the surrounding reality. Not in my case, however. I was sitting on the roadside, wheezing and typing to ease my sore throat by gulping breaths of hot air. In my case, the run did its job. The fear withdrew for a while. Maybe I really am just dreaming, though recalling my self-harm on the bus, I immediately rejected the idea. I am neither dreaming nor dead. In purgatory, a narrow road ran through the field and far into the distance. That exact same road. It's not just that. It was winter yesterday, and it's summer now. It's the whole environment. Of course, summer is usually like this, green and hot. But here, everything is not entirely lifelike. Everything looks like it was taken from the paintings of a Russian landscape artist of the 19th century. The grass is just too lush, while bushes are not like that bushes would be. They are so thick, and you can't see anything through them, like treetops, honestly. And the trees themselves. The forest was quite far away, but the trees looked as if they had closed their ranks and were now just waiting for the order to advance onto the fields and plains. I caught my breath and looked at the bus, which was now barely visible. That was a good run. Fear overtook me once again. Those powerful lines. There must be people here. But what does it mean? In fact, that means nothing at all. Couldn't they have power lines even in hell? Roasting sinners over hot coals. That's so last century. I must have reached the point of no return, after which you should have your mind completely, or finally. And while I still have no choice, I should pick the second option. I slowly headed back to the bus. Of course, it was scary, but I'm not likely to find an answer in the fields or the woods, and this wretched bucket of bolts is the only kind of link that I have with the real world. My lips are so dry. I should carefully scout the area. Sovionok means olit. That tells me nothing. A brick wall and its gates crowned with a Sovionok sign, statues of pioneers standing on either side, and a road sign nearby showing the bus route number 410. The trip's taking a bit too long today, I smirked. A person may start acting inappropriately in extreme situations. Something like that is probably happening to me now. This place didn't look abandoned at all. No rust on the gates, no damage to the walls. Sovionok. What could have a name like that? Judging by the pioneer statues. Installation, logically speaking, explains nothing at all. The strange girl, the altered bus, summer, the pioneer camp. Thousands of theories went through my mind instantly, from alien abduction to lethargic sleep, from a hallucination to a time and space shift. None was worse than any other. There was really no way to pick a single one. Then it occurred to me, I can try to make a phone call. I took out my cell phone and dialed the first number from my contact list. But instead of signal strength bars, the screen was showing a thick cross. Alright, there may be no signal in such a remote place. Though I cannot be the only one who came here. Buses don't drive themselves. I examined the bus from all sides to make sure that it wasn't hallucination. Bits of dirt on the bottom, some rust here and there, faded paint, and worn out tires. No, this is definitely not a very ordinary. It is beyond your understandings if you carelessly fall asleep. I gave a nervous chuckle. It came out by itself, sporadically, because this wasn't the right place or time to laugh. But where on earth is the driver? I cautiously sat down on the curb beside the bus and started to wait. Very weird actions. My patience didn't last long. My anxiety seemed to have reached its peak, and I started to go slightly mad. In such a situation, anyone would have probably felt something similar. Aliens and parallel universes were gone from my imagination, leaving only void and darkness. Is this how everything will end? How my life will end? But I wanted to do so much. There were so many things that I had no time for yet. I was overwhelmed by the idea this was definitely the end. But why? It's not fair. Surely I'm no worse than anyone else. God, why? Were burning my eyes unbearably. I curled up and started rolling in the grass. Why? What did I do? Why me? But my cries were only heard by the speechless statues of the pioneers and a bird on a tree, which immediately flapped its wings and took off, crying out something in its own bird language, as if laughing at the idiot who dared to interrupt its after-dinner nap. I was left breathless from weeping and just lay quietly, sobbing occasionally. I needed a drink. After a while, I managed to pull myself together. My mind cleared up for a bit, as if terror and the fear of death gave me a little break. All in all, if someone wanted to kill me, what is this all for? It doesn't look like an experiment either. If this is just some crazy coincidence, and there's probably no threat. Anyway, for now, it seems there is no danger. The panic was soon gone. Of course, the blood was still pounding in my temples, and the hands were still shaking, but at least I could think clearly now. Right now, there is nothing I can really change anyway. So no matter how much I think or how mad I get, it would only make things worse. Until some actual facts appear, there is really no point in making guesses. In my case, I won't learn anything by lounging about here. This camp, if of course it is really a camp, looked like the only place where people could be. So I decided to go there, and hardly had I reached the gates when a girl came from behind them. A vanilla choice, I'm assuming. I'm gonna get a drink. Let's pause it. Alright, now that I have a Gatorade, I am ready to go. I froze, unable to take a step. I felt very much like running away, running as far as I could from this place, far from the bus, gates, statues, and far from this bloody bird with its siesta. Just running, free like the wind, faster and faster, wavering to the planets passing by, winking at the galaxies. Running, becoming a pulsar ray and turning into a vestigial radiation. Running to face the unknown. Run no matter where, as long as it's far away from this place. Meanwhile, the girl came closer and smiled. This is definitely dementia. Like, he's straight up like, I don't want to do this again. I could not help but notice her beauty, even though I was trembling with fear. She is pretty good looking for a Soviet a student. Of consciousness. And while only 5% of a brain is responsible for cognitive process, the remaining 95% are always busy sustaining life and, in particular, ensuring a stable functioning of a hormonal system. I desperately wanted to get less complicated and to stop thinking in formal quotes from an encyclopedia, though my thoughts appeared one by one being stupid, out of place, as if taken from an internal monologue of a hero of some junky, softcover crime fiction book. A pretty Slavic face, long braids that looked like 2 armfuls of fresh hay, and blue eyes you could drown in. Hi, you must have just arrived. Ah, shit. I'm going in completely blind. I don't have a walkthrough with me. I assume if I reply, I will cater to the more extroverted options, and if I do not reply, I will cater to the I assume deep and quiet types. Um, for the aesthetic of the game, I would not reply. Not too sure. Do not reply. I was frozen and in astonishment. The girl looked perfectly normal, just like an ordinary human, but I still could not utter a single word. It's too late to run. Did I say something wrong? It took a momentary effort to answer. Yeah? What? The fuck? Oh, nothing. I mean, I've just arrived. I replied quickly, beginning to worry that I might have blurted out something wrong. Alright then, welcome. I'm scared. I'm terrified. She smiles broadly. Can I have like some music? Damn. Strange. I looked as if I had just a normal girl in front of me. Pretty cute. Bah. I shouldn't have returned here. The woods and fields seemed better. I agree. But speak with her as if she was a human or the blood was pumping unbearably in my head, tearing it apart from the inside. A little bit more and the poor pioneer girl would be splattered with the gruesome contents of my school. Damn, I'm gonna do this. Legit taking online school at the moment. What's so funny about that? Did I say something? Hold on. I can see. Yeah, there we go. Nothing. I mean, I've just arrived. Alright, then welcome. Did she read my mind? I'm scared. Not gonna lie. Gotta do some quizzes to do school. It sent shivers down my spine and my knees started to tremble. Should I pull off a feminine voice, or am I going to absolutely fail at it? Great? What's so great about that? Suddenly, a thought crossed my mind. To hell with it all. Forget about the bus behind me, the fact that it was winter yesterday and summer today. I wanted to rip off my itchy sweater and just accept that all of this is actually happening. Everything is as it should be. All of this is for the best. What do you happen to know? You should go to our camp later. She'll tell you everything. Look, you go straight ahead to the square, then turn left. You'll see several small cabins. She pointed at the gates as if I knew what was behind them. Well, you can ask someone where Olga Dmitrievna cabins is. In this case, both Russian spell person. Got it? Of course I didn't. Well, I've got to go now. Oh, the girl waved her hand at me and disappeared through the gates. It seemed as if to her I was nothing, or something, ordinary. And all this show of a bus and the travels while awake is just the way it is supposed to be. Camp leader, pioneer uniform? What? Are they doing a historical reenactment here? I hope I won't find Lenin standing atop an armored car in the square. But even that would not surprise me right now. After standing alone for a while, I headed into the camp. How much time is it? 30 minutes. That looks really ghetto. A mere 50 meters ahead, a small one-story house popped up on the left side. The sign near the door said clubs. Oh, no, my heart. Oh my god, I almost died. I was about to come closer. Oh shit, it's the main Cinderella girl, I assume. When the door suddenly opened, and a short girl of once sprang for the fate of the whole of mankind, of a truly universal sorrow. As soon as she saw me, the girl froze, as if frightened. I froze too, considering what was the best to do. To approach first or wait until she showed some initiative, or maybe run away after all. Although the last option was constantly being suggested, only by my self-preservation instinct. At least, that's what I'd like to believe. Not the worst human instinct, but far from the most logical. If this instinct played poker against deductive abilities, the outcome would be predetermined. And those deductive abilities, or at least a resemblance, were hinting to me that there was no need to be afraid of this girl. Nope. Nope. Suddenly, somebody jumped out of nearby bushes. What am I playing? A girl wearing a bright red t-shirt with USSR written on it. Such a perfect reproduction of the age. It's like Monopoly music. Oh, damn. It's good, it's good goofy music. Such a perfect blah blah blah. She looked quite short from a distance. I'm tired. Reading is boring. I'm just gonna play this. Don't want to read everything, but I also want to read. But I don't want to read out loud. Can I just stop here? It's a good spot, right? Alright, yeah. Alright, well, this was interesting. Uh, just, last night decided to look into some dating sims visual novels, play one again. I was quite the fan back in the day, so I was like, you know what? Why not play one for old time's sake? Looked into it, found Everlasting Summer, and chose that, and now here I am, like trying to record it. Especially with dry ass lips in the morning, tired and uninspired. But yeah, this is the first episode. Don't know if I'll make more. Who knows? Alright. Well, let bestiality rest in your mentality.